4817-3333, the number to the studio. Let's take our first caller on air. Radio Caravan, you're on the air. Good evening. What is your question, please?
My question is, how far it will be safer for EB-5 based application at this point in time? It takes about 2 years, so is there a potential that this can be scrapped away?
Yeah, so I keep on getting a little concerned when the president says the gold card will replace the current EB-5 program, right? So I hope that they can say that they can add to that, and adding to that would also go through the Congress. My only concern is that he has everyone else in the Congress on his side convinced that whatever he's saying is the smartest idea in the world. So now, given that, we'll have to wait and watch, but they can't scrap anyone that has already submitted their case in number one and their money is pending with the regional center. Nothing will happen to that. It will remain intact. And it creates that pathway.
Hope that answers your question there. Thank you so much for your call. Let's take our next caller on. Radio Caravan, you're on the air. What is your question, please?
Well, actually, I'm supposed to be on the air from 5:30 to 6 today. I am.
Yes,
Garry
hi,
Perkins.
Gary. He's going to be talking about the statewide EB-5 program. Like I said, we had a different guest last time, and we'd like to introduce Garry here as well to the community if they are looking for things. Now, again, this comes to say that we're not associated in any way with anyone, but we're just introducing a bunch of different programs and regional centers that are operating within Texas and doing well.
Absolutely, and he's on the air right now.
So, Garry, just go ahead and please, thank you for coming on, and could you just introduce your regional center, please?
Sure. I'm Garry Perkins. I'm the managing partner of statewide EB-5 Regional Center. Our main office is in Tyler, Texas, and we have a sub-office in Dallas, Texas. Our regional center covers the whole state of Texas, and we've been in business since we got approved in March of 2014. Been doing this quite a while.
Thank you so much for giving that information.
Right.
Through regional centers and projects that take 800,000 and of course other fees that whatever the regional centers charge, and provide documents for projects that would be either in a rural area or a targeted high unemployment area.
Right.
And also would directly or indirectly hire 10 new jobs so that the immigrant has a path to success on their EB-5 program.
Absolutely. Welcoming all listeners and calls right now. If you do have any questions pertaining to that, you can give us a call. 214-817-3333 is the number to the studio. That is 214-817-3333 is the number to the studio. And would definitely request Garry to stay on line here. And meanwhile, of course, Pallavi ji, we would not like to stop other immigration question calls as well here. But we are definitely welcoming all the EB-5 visa-related calls, and especially all the projects that Garry and his team handles. If you have any questions, guys, any information that you need, then you can give us a call here, 214-817-3333, the number to the studio. Radio Caravan, you're on the air. What is your question? Go ahead. What is your question, please?
I have a question, but not on EB-5, on H-4EAD. Are we taking H-4EAD question as well?
Yes, sure. Surely, go ahead, please.
Okay, so like previously we have seen like the administration was like planning to remove H-4EAD. Are there any news like this time as well? Are they planning to remove it? Like I've not seen any news or any updates on that.
Not yet. I think if it is, then it'll slowly be unveiled, because I think they can handle only so many lawsuits at a time. So for right now, we're just going to have to wait and watch. So we know that it was on the chop block last time, and then it went to a hard time. But then it ended up being okay. And, I think there was something that was positively stated about, indirectly about the H-1B visa in the State of the Union yesterday. And that said, we do want people to come in and work hard. So let's hope that tone stays on and that extends to the H-4EADs too. But we'll have to wait and watch on that one, please.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. Once again, guys, we are welcoming all your immigration questions right now. Also welcoming all of your EB-5 related questions as well, as we do have Mr. Garry Perkins on air with us answering those questions for you. Radio Caravan, you're on the air. What is your question, please?
Hey, I'm about to raise my H-1 extension and I realize my Indian passport is expired. I already submitted a request to renew it in Tatkal, but just wanted to know, will it cause any issue during the extension once I submit the new one? Because there will be a gap of, say, 10-15 days between the old and new passport.
Yeah, so the issue is, was your last entry, have you checked your I-94 as well?
Yeah,
I-94, to make sure that your I-94 wasn't cut short by any reason.
Yeah, I-99 is valid till May 2025.
Okay, so it's still valid. You did not travel in the middle of this, so that they didn't cut it short. That's good news. And when it comes to not having a passport in the middle, I mean, first have it. First let's get the passport, then submit your extension, is the advice, because otherwise you will get an RFE asking you to produce the passport, just delays everything. But you not having a passport in the middle or it being applied for is not an issue.
Okay, so in H1 extension it won't cause any issue, right?
Yeah, you have to have the passport renewed prior to filing though.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your call. Welcoming all your immigration questions along with your EB-5 related questions as well. If you need any information about ongoing projects that Garry and his team handles, you can definitely give us a call and Garry will give you all the information that you absolutely need. But of course, if you do have an immigration question, Pallavi is here as always till about 6 o'clock this evening answering your immigration questions. 214-817-3333 is the number to the studio. And while we wait for calls here, Pallavi, anything else you would like to ask Garry or, comments or, forward this conversation more?
So, Garry, could you just go over your any recent success and what kind of project that was, and whether there is still subscriptions that are available to that particular project? Is there something that you'd like to tell us?
Sure. We've got a project in Gainesville that is a rural project. It's an apartment multifamily deal in multi-phases, and we have about 20 investors so far, and we're probably going to need another 20, and it is a rural investment, and it's going very, very well. We're looking for more investors also. I've got projects that range from $1 billion, which is very, very unusual, to the typical $40-50 million range all over Texas, including some high-rises to be developed. And we have one small hospital that the I-956F has been filed on. We're looking for investors there. In all, we have about 19 active projects, and all of which need some investors before they're closed out.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. That sounds great, especially when we can see that rural part is open right now on final action visa bulletin, the final action table for Indians. Right. So that's helpful. So if that's something that's going on, I think that's a really small number or small segment of the total EB-5 filings, but that's good that you have some that's working on the rural.
Absolutely. Thank you for that information, Garry. And right now we do have our next caller on Radio Caravan. You're on the air. Go ahead. What's your question?
Hi, my name is Raj. This is regarding I-94 extension of my son, H4. So his passport has going to expire on March 10th. And, what are the ways to extend the, I-94 by staying in the country?
So his passport has expired. Has it been renewed, or has it been sent for renewal?
Actually, his visa is valid till next year, October, but passport is expiring on 10th, and he got a new passport. So, but I-94, when we entered the country, they are given till his passport expiry date only. So, what are the options?
So the only way you can extend his status by filing. Is it an H4? Is he an H4 dependent?
Yeah, it's H4, yes.
Yeah, so you have to file an H4 extension for him to extend his I-94. That's the only way to extend it.
Oh, I think within the next 1 week I can file it, right? Because it's expiring.
Correct.
This weekend.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Oh, okay, there should not be any problem. He will not be out of status. Is that correct?
No, as long as it gets to the government prior to his I-94 expiring, he should be okay.
Oh, okay, fine. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for your call. And Pallaviji, we are headed towards a short commercial break in the next 2 minutes or so. And of course, welcoming all questions here meanwhile as well. 214-817-3333 is the number to the studio. And I also want to thank Garry for being on air with us right now. Pallaviji, any other remarks you would like to have before we take a short commercial break?
So we also have the starting of the H-1B season, and that's happening this Friday. And it starts at noon, and it will close on Monday, 24th of March at noon. The registration fee has dramatically increased from $10 to $215 for people that file hundreds of applications. That may make a difference, of course, or for anyone else. But at this time, just be aware, if you're an employer, that you must have an organizational account that should be set up. If you're an employee, your employer must be doing all of these things for you, and you should provide your passport and your degrees to your employer so they can enter you in the lottery. And before we kind of go to the break, I do want to thank Garry for coming on and talking about statewide EB-5 regional center. And I'm sure, Garry, is there any way they can reach you so that we'll invite you again in a few weeks? If there are any updates, we'll bring you back on. But thank you so much for coming on the air today.
Sure. I can be reached at 469-688-7798. And my email address is gperkins@statewide.eb5.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Garry. Thank you so much
Thank you,
for your
Garry.
time. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Radio Caravan. Join the Phanisha Caravan. We are with Miss Pallavi Ahluwalia of the Ahluwalia Law Offices. She's with us till about 6 o'clock answering your immigration questions right now. The number to the studio is 214-817-3333 for your immigration questions right now. And Pallavi ji, welcome back to the show. I believe we do have a caller here. Radio Caravan, you're on the air.
Yes, I can.
All right, wonderful. Let's go ahead and take some calls here. Radio Caravan, you're on the air. What is your question, please?
Hi, my question is, I had applied for my, AP, Advanced Parole, along with my EAD, GCAD. I got my EAD and I got confirmation on the AP on my website, on the website, and it shows it approved. But it did not come to me in the email, my mailbox. And I put 2 service requests, but there is no reply till now.
Okay, so do you see that, has it been lost? Do you know? Was there a USPS misdelivery? Service request may not do it. You may have to push through the 800 number and then keep saying that you want to speak to an officer and see if somebody were to produce a result. And unfortunately, it's a messy show out there. Right? So you'll have to push through to see what's happening here. And that'd be such a loss, because if it's been approved, sometimes they've also been behind in printing it out. So they actually had opened a new center in Potomac to just address advanced paroles, all kind of paroles, right? Not sure the state of that center right now, but I know that they had been behind in the printout as well. So you're saying you have it approved but not received, but does it show that it's been mailed out?
They are not ready to tell anything. I chatted with them on the website. They don't respond.
Emma?
Actually. Yes, they said put the service
so the 800 number is the only way to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
The only way to do that is to use the 800 number, right?
Okay, and I again applied for that AP, but they sent me that receipt also. But the previous one, there is nothing.
Yeah.
Hello?
So for the previous one, you don't have a receipt is what you're saying? I'm sorry, I can't understand that particular difference in what you're saying.
Okay, so after putting 2 service requests, when the nothing came out, I applied again for the AP, the same one, and I got receipt for that.
Okay.
So I don't know what's going on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, it was approved in October itself, last year.
Yeah, so then it's lost for sure. In your AP filing, did you put in, because a lot of times there is some basic information that goes in there and they're being a little picky about that now. Did you put in when your travel dates are going to be and for what reason do you want to travel?
Yes,
Have you?
everything was there. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. And when did you submit that?
The new one? January.
Okay, yeah. So then, it will still take you a little while. It'll take you a little while.
So shall I call again to them on 1-800? Should I try again on that? Call them and insist on talking to some officers?
So after October, within about 4 to 8 weeks or 6 weeks is when you would get the best result out of trying to understand if it was a lost advance parole or what had happened to it. I mean, if that's not the case and you've got to, I would still suggest you call and give them that previous one and say that it was approved but I never received it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your call there. Let's take our next caller on Radio Caravan. You're on the air. What is your question, please?
Hi, this is Kumar. Thank you, Pallavi ji, for taking up the question. My question is related to the 2-month grace period that H1 employees get if in case they are fired. So my question is, when is the true start of this clock of 2-month grace period that they get? Is it after the last paycheck that they get? So, because normally companies still take like 2 to 3 weeks to give their severance and everything. So would that last payment that the company made be considered the start, or would it be the last working day that would be the start of
working day usually? Working day is what they think is your last working day. The severance payments are, cashing out of your remaining vacation days or all of that. They show up as such, and those are not the days that they count from. People have been able to use that earlier if it shows up as a regular check. But again, the law is meant to be giving you grace from the date that you lost your job. 60-day grace. And sometimes 60 days is not actually 2 months, right? It's not complete 2 full months. It'll be shorter than 2 months sometimes, so you have to be careful about that too.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your call. We are with Miss Pallavi Ahluwalia of the Ahluwalia Law Offices. Radio Caravan, you're on the air. What is your question, please?
Hey, I just wanted to check after the last, when we lost a job, so there was a program called We Can Apply for EAD if you have your home and mortgage or something and all. So is that still valid to we can apply for EAD on H1?
The extreme hardship, we don't recommend that you use it. It's not actually keeping you in valid legal status, right? Mm-hmm. It's just, and while you're staying on it, it is not, so basically if you were to have dates that get current, you're not actually maintaining your non-immigrant status here. So changes of status are not possible. You'll have to leave the country, re-enter. Now, unlawful presence may not accrue, but it's not something that we have willingly, with full thought recommend it to people.
Okay. Because nowadays market is very hard, right? So it's taking more time to get a job nowadays. So that's wanted to check whether we can use that option to.
Yeah. So basically, then you would lose. You'll have to go out of the country, re-enter the country, and then you have to also take in account of stamping, right? It's not like you go on to this EAD and then you go on to an H1 again. We would have recommended it if that was the path. It's not. So the right way to do this would be H1 to B2 to H1 is more recommended than doing it this way.
So B2 in the sense B2 you can work? No, right?
No. You're not allowed to work, but you're allowed to be here.
Yeah, basically we wanted to work. So that's the main thing. That's what, because to cover the expenses, right? Till we get, at least we can work on the outside, like any other job. It's not something that allows you a seamless extension of stay later on. Because I heard that they are giving EAD. That's what I heard. That's what I wanted to clarify. Yeah. Welcome to use them. Can't move that to an H-1B later. Okay. Not within the country. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Let's take our next caller on Radio Caravan. You're on the air. What is your question, please? Go ahead.
My question is, I'm an H, and I have a fiance in India. I wanted to see if there is any provisions that that she can come here and get married in America.
And you're currently here on H-1B, you said?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And so the fiancé will come back here, and would they file for a change of status, or they would go back?
She comes here.
I'm so sorry, there was disturbance in the line. What was your last statement?
To change her status.
Yeah, so then she's got to wait for 90 days before she marries and as well as changes her status. So she can't come in and marry right away.
Understood. So, but what visa can she come to? Like maybe tourist visa, does it allow?
Okay, so she does not have a tourist visa stamped on her passport? And
that is correct.
Yeah. And if she doesn't have it stamped, then she's going to have difficulty with it, in getting it, right? Unless, of course, she qualifies for the financial independence, their emotional ties to India, and then the reason she wants to come and visit. And the reason can't be that, okay, she's coming here to get married or turn into an H4, because then they would want her to apply for the H4 at the consulate, not as B2 to H4.
Understood. So maybe just a student visa is something that she could probably opt, like in a course or something, and that is another way.
Student visa, she has to qualify again. If there's something that works for her, yes, she could. She could come in, but anytime, whenever she comes in and she has to change her status, she has to wait 90 days from her time of entry.
Makes sense. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you for your call. We have about 5 more minutes left to the show here. If you do have any questions for Pallavi ji, definitely give us a call. We are with Ms. Pallavi Ahluwalia of the Ahluwalia Law Office, is answering your immigration questions. The office number is 972-361-0606 if you want to schedule yourself an appointment. Let's take our next caller on Radio Caravan. You're on the air. What is your question, please?
Hi. Thank you, Ms. Ahluwalia, for taking my question. Now, you answered to a previous gentleman that H1 to B2 to H1 would be better. Now, if the spouse is on a H4 EAD, the moment you go to B2, the spouse would not be able to work. Is that right?
From the time that the person loses their job, the spouse in 60 days also loses all the benefits of being an H4. So the EAD
so the spouse would not be able to work during the 60-day grace period?
Well, if they're allowing you to be here, we are extending the assumption that the H4 is also allowed to be here. Along with
but the H4 will not be able to work.
Away. Correct. After 60 days. During the 60 days, we should look at it as a period in which it's status quo.
Okay, it is status quo. All right. The follow-on question to that is, now, obviously there is no risk of H1 to B2 to H1 if the person loses the job. But suppose the individual can get just a transfer initiated to another company, let's say in regular mode, right? Because it will take 4 to 6 months. And so that is also a path that can be taken. And if that path is taken,
as long as there's valid work, and it's not based on something that would not be correct, because you have to understand that the only way you can move to your employer B after you move from there, or C, will be only upon the approval of the first case.
Right? So when the processing is happening, the person can continue to stay in the U.S., but obviously not work. So is that better, or moving to B2 is better? Which is better?
B2 is better. The government had announced that they would allow people under premium processing, once you show them the receipt for the B2, to be able to change status right back under premium processing to H-1B, without requiring that whole process to go through, where you first get the first case approved, then the second one. So you will not be able to start work for your employer if this is just being done as a ploy to just be here. Not the right call.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your call. And Pallaviji, that pretty much does it for us this evening and the show. We have less than 2 minutes left, so I would love to have you have your closing remarks here.
All right. So I think it's out on my website as well, on the blog section. We've had yet another thoughtful blog, and also a significant policy change that's going to impact a lot of applicants. Under a proposed rule, which has been published in the Federal Register, USCIS is going to be now seeking social media identifiers, handles from individuals filing key immigration forms. So this administration, the thing is that if your social interactions, right, show that this is that you are speaking out against anyone, whether it's on Twitter or wherever it is, which is what a lot of people do under different handles, then it's quite possible that they do not give you the benefit that you're looking for, right? So this is where we have a thin-skinned approach to critique or criticism, right? So if anybody is doing that, I mean, their point is, if you're present in the country and you're not even a U.S. citizen, you have no rights to be able to. I'm sure at some point someone will end up bringing this to court, but for right now, it's part of the Federal Register, and that notice has been posted.
All right. Thank you. Thank you
so
for
much,
that.
Vaibhav. Thank you for hosting me, and we look forward to it. Telling this to a lot of people who under handles do post, and I hate to say don't put out your thoughts there, but this is the government's effort to try and seek out people who are critiquing the government or posting things, and they're going to be looking through those handles. So now you're going to have not only the benefits judged by the merit of them, but also what you say, right, on a social media platform.
Thank you, Pallaviji. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.